Good morning, this is Cliff Hippolyte with Secure Realty Investments. Coming to you live. Today is Wednesday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. I just wanted to touch upon this subject with the NAR and the case that we just lost a couple months ago. So basically, I'm trying to make this short and sweet, but clear and concise at the same time. If you get hired by a seller, the seller is hiring you and paying you, the listing broker, okay? Now, if you're an agent working for a broker, you're the listing agent. You negotiate your commission, and all commissions are negotiable. There's no set price, okay? Now, obviously, we don't want to take advantage of people in this business. We have an oath that we took to be ethical, to be moral, and to do things legally in the right way if you're a realtor, and that's very important. But at the end of the day, it's the listing brokerage that pays the buyer brokerage, okay? It's not the other way around. It's not the seller that pays the buyer agent. And a lot of people have been trained the wrong way, and when you go explain that to a seller and you tell them that, you know, they're liable pretty much to pay the buyer agent, of course they're going to be a little bit upset about that if they're really paying attention, because when you go there for your listing presentation, they hired you as a listing broker to sell their home. So why would you say that the seller pays the buyer agent commission? This is why this came into fruition. This is why that we lost, because the public doesn't really know what we do. And a lot of things that's happening now is because of lack of training. This is why we're in the boat that we're in. This is just my personal opinion on it. Realtors, brokers, you're more than welcome to comment, whether you agree with me or not. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts. The listing brokerage is the one that's hired, and they put it out on MLS. So they basically send it out to subcontractors, which would be buyer agents, and they say, if you bring me a buyer, I will break bread with you and I will give you that 2%, 2.5%, whatever it is. Because it's up to the listing brokerage to give a payment. It's not required by law to do it, because technically the seller is hiring you as a listing broker to sell their property. Okay? So now can you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put it out at MLS and I'm going to give a buyer agency of 0%. I'm not going to break bread. Can you do that? Legally, you can. Is that the best thing to do, looking out for your seller? In my personal opinion, absolutely not. Because what are buyer brokers going to do? And buyer agents, they're going to say, oh, I'm not getting a commission. I'm not going to show the house, right? Which, is that legal? No, because you're required to show something. So we need to get better on our training. Simply, all my buyer consultations, I let the buyer know, listen, yeah, 95% of the time, I'm going to get the commission from the listing brokerage. But if there's ever a position where maybe there's a for sale by owner and I can't negotiate a commission to be paid, you're liable for that commission. Now, is that an uncomfortable conversation to have with your buyers? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because this is the business. Just like you get hired by a listing for a listing, they're paying you and you're providing a service. When you're working with buyers, aren't you providing a service for buyers? Okay, so, I believe that it'll get reversed, but it's going to take some time. But I believe there's a big chance that the business is going to change, and now they're going to start charging the buyer. And that's going to be a big encumbrance, because remember, let's think about veterans. Now, if you're telling them they have to pay a commission, that's going to be tough, because how are they going to get a loan? Because a VA loan is 100%. And it's not just veteran, it's any buyer. Now you're kind of discriminating against the buyer in a way, in my opinion, because now you're saying the buyer has to come up with more money to pay a commission, which the way it was set up before, it was easier because we're doing cooperating compensation. But the problem is, if you explain it to sellers the wrong way, then yeah, that's a problem. So we just need to do better about our listing presentation and our training so that our consumers understand what this is all about, because it's pretty simple. You get hired from the seller, you're the listing broker, and then you pay the buyer brokerage. That's a decision that you're making. It's not on the seller. Okay? Because if you sell the house by yourself, don't you get the whole commission because you're bringing the buyer? So, this brings up a lot of different arguments, and, you can try to spin things, to your narrative for understanding. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and we just need to get better with training, and we just need to be transparent. Okay? And, right now is not the time to leave the realtor board and say, oh, well, it's too expensive. Like, we all need to stick together, and we're stronger in numbers. And I'm a big, supporter of the Realtor Association, because there's a lot of training programs, a lot of things that you can do under that. A lot of agents complain and say, well, why am I paying all these fees? Well, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Put time in. I've been looking at some masterminds, and, some brokers said it best. Wake up earlier, do better. It's a hard market. It's hard for everybody. You know what I mean? Nobody, you know what I mean? Everybody's feeling it. You do what you have to do to survive. If you have to work another job, you do what you got to do to pay those fees. But, when time comes into play and lawsuits like this happen, again, we need to stick together. I think we're going to get it reversed, and we're going to win, because clearly what we were accused of is not true. It's just simply not true. But people don't understand. So I didn't mean to go on a long rant, but that's what I wanted to say is my word for the day. But happy selling, happy shopping. If you need anything real estate, you know who to reach out, all right? Talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone.